Relationship goals today is all about expectations or no expectations. I don't know where you stand on this matter. Do you go into a relationship having certain expectations set for yourself, or do you go into it open, free, willy, whatever happens, happens? I mean, there's two sides to every story, and that's what we're going to explore today, relationship goals. What are your relationship goals? I mean, we're in 2022, and I think relationships continue to evolve every single day. So today we're going to be talking about relationship goals, expectations, no expectations. I don't know. What's your take on that? I'll be right back to discuss this. Welcome back to Dr. OJ Speaks. If this is your first time on my channel, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notification on, and of course, leave a comment, like, and share this video. Let me see. Relationship goals. What are my relationship goals? Do I have goals in relationships? I don't know. You're going to find out when I come back after this break. See you soon.
Yeah. Oh no, oh no. She's old, yeah. So many of us got what to say. But we don't have the means, but we can listen, yeah. Things that we sharpen our vision, yeah. Oh yeah. Negativity getting out the way. By listening to us that we bring life, yeah. Plus it's like the voice of an angel, yeah. Dr. OJ, visionary, extraordinary. That burning like giving joy to the helpless. With it and bringing life to the dream. That's all we are, Ruby, and Sammy, and she's yeah. Transforming one life at a time. With the best voice that you have. Dr. OJ, keep on speaking for us. You're the voice we want to hear.
Relationship goals. It's all about relationship goals. So while I was doing some research for this episode, I came across some very interesting 2022 relationship goals, I guess from several polls and surveys that were taken. So Google had this to say about the top 5 relationship goals for 2025. Getting to know each other better was actually number 1. And that just really gladdened my heart. And then, of course, at the top of that list was also the goal of moving in together, getting married, having kids, not having kids, financial goals, and actually just helping each other along with reaching your goals, like supporting your partner. Those are some relationship goals that were at the top of the list for 2022. And I thought that was great because now I feel like we are finally getting it. Or maybe not, I don't know, with the increase and the sustained increase of divorce rates. Maybe we're not getting it, I don't know. I might just be assuming. Well, here goes. Relationship goals for me. I'm going to focus on 2 things. Vulnerability and emotional stability. Those 2 points are extremely important. They should be very, very crucial when we talk about relationship goals. Let's talk about vulnerability. I feel like women, especially for women, at least I can speak authoritatively on that angle. Women, we grow and we evolve in seasons. In my 20s, I was very ambitious, getting out of college. I was ready to take over the world. It was just like everything was possible, and I wasn't too focused on the relationship part. Of course, there were relationships. I got married in my 20s, and I started having kids. But I hadn't given it a thought, like a deep thought about what I really wanted in a partner. I knew a lot of what I wanted from life as far as, financial goals, professional goals, and things like that. But when it came to the relationship part, it was like, everything felt good because culturally, I came from a culture that would incline us to focus on marriage and childbirth early. Of course, they'll tell you, oh, your ovaries are going to dry out if you don't have those kids early enough. Or if you don't get married, nobody's going to want you in your 30s, and all of that nonsense. And I feel like our generation was scammed, for lack of a better word. We were scammed into that foolishness. So a lot of my peers, we got married in our 20s and started having kids early. And a lot of us got divorced in our late 30s, going into our 40s. Go figure. But now when we look at the seasons of life, women in their 20s, everything goes. In our 30s, we become more affirmed. We become more assertive. We know who we are, what we want. We know a lot of the things that we truly, truly want to pursue with our lives, the things we want to accomplish. And that's when a lot of us begin to hunker down on the things that we want to do professionally. Of course, at that point, if you are already in the family situation, you are either trying to decide what to do with balancing your professional development, your growth, making those sacrifices, or for some people just really letting it go and pursuing those goals head on. And then when we get into our 40s, that is another interesting season. You know, it's like life truly, they say, begins at 40. And I can tell you that in a weird kind of way, it really does. You know, it's this 40s when I'm like, I really don't care what you think about me. I'm just gonna do me. I am finally embracing me, loving me. I'm finally comfortable in my own skin. I'm finally at the point where I'm not trying to prove a point to nobody. Although a lot of us still struggle with that. Peer societal pressure. Not everybody gets to that point at that point. Don't get me wrong, this is not a general scale. This is just a metric that I used to measure from my own experience and just gathering that data across a very slim portion of the people that I have had the good fortune to interact with. So women grow in seasons. So when we talk about vulnerability, the older we get, the more vulnerable we're able to be. Yes, we become more assertive. Yes, we are more assured, we're more aware, but we're also more vulnerable. You know, men, or sometimes not just men, people make this error that, you know, once you assume this role of alpha femalism, this top boss lady role, then you lose your vulnerability. I beg to differ. In order to have successful relationships, and maybe some people lose it, but I tell you, in order to have any successful relationship, especially the personal ones, it's very important for you to never let go of your vulnerability. No matter how strong, no matter how independent, no matter how self-sufficient you are, vulnerability is a huge part in being able to effectively connect to your partner. And I feel like it goes both ways. I don't feel like, I know for a fact that it has to go both ways. Yes, men, you need to be extremely vulnerable. You need to be okay with it. You need to be okay with bearing your soul and sharing. Of course, I know that comes over time with trust being built and developed and all of the shenanigans that we have to go through in, you know, developing this relationship. So when we talk about vulnerability, very, very important as a relationship goal. If you're not vulnerable with your partner, then who are you going to be vulnerable with? Because that really helps to develop intimacy. Now let's talk about emotional stability. Emotional stability is a top need. You know, when we talk about the need for us, everybody wants to be loved, everybody wants to feel loved, they want to love, and they know that they're loved as well. That is a fundamental human need. No matter whichever way you dice and cut it, no matter which type of human being, there is no human being, any female, no matter how powerful, no matter how strong, how, you know, whatever it is that she is, everybody, both male and female, we want to be emotionally understood. We want to be stable. And I feel like when you merge emotional stability with vulnerability, you end up with what we call a high-performing, emotionally intelligent human being. Because it takes a lot for you to be able to find stability emotionally in a relationship and also be able to put in that vulnerability factor. I don't want to call it factor, but that vulnerability portion of what you bring to the table. And that is a level of awareness that says that you are secure not only in yourself, but you are also secure in the relationship that you're in. All right, guys, we're going to pick up the conversation where we come back, because relationship goals, I tell you, this thing is very important. I mean, no man is an island, right? I'll be right back after this break.
My name is Dr. Ohikosola Jinaru. I'm a beauty professional, med spa operator, franchise owner, and director of education at HD Pro Global Beauty Institute and Body Med Spa. As a mother of 3 boys and immigrant business owner, it is important for me to have a steady and sustainable source of income that transcends economic, government, or public health uncertainties and instability like the global pandemic we are still recovering from. That is why HD Pro Global has created multiple systems that allows my team and I to train, educate, certify, and establish independent med spa operators like us all over the globe. For more information, check out our website to attend a free webinar to get started on your path to continuous success, no matter what is going on in your part of the world. I cannot wait to meet you. Thank you.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Relationship Goals. So, there's some popular relationship goals that are really at the top of a lot of people's list in 2022. And it really amazed me while I was doing some research for this episode that I found out on the top of that list was getting to know each other better. People want to get to know each other better. Some relationship goals are like moving in together or getting married, whether or not they're going to have children, and several other goals that people set for themselves in relationships in this new year. I don't know, I don't want to say millennium, but anyway, maybe it's because I'm a millennial, but those are some of the most popular relationship goals that are out there. But what are your relationship goals? For me, I would love to focus on vulnerability in the relationship and emotional stability. For me, that's very, very important to know that I'm able to connect with the individual. And I don't think this is really about me. For a lot of women, like I was having a conversation the other day and I was talking about how women grow in seasons, right? A young 20-something-year-old lady asked me, she was like, Dr. O, how do you know what you want, when you want it, and how you want it? And I said, well, that's a loaded question because there's really no right or wrong way to answer that question. One of the things that I was able to kind of talk about was as it pertains to relationships. Funny enough, it's like when people ask me that kind of question, I'm automatically thinking about their relationship life, like what's that like to them, what does that look like, what does that feel like? And I said, because women, we grow in seasons. When we're in our 20s, it seems like everything goes, right? And then we evolve into our 30s, and that's when we begin to affirm ourselves. We get into a state of certainty. We know who we are. At least we're beginning to come to that realization of who we are and what we want. And oftentimes, our male counterparts or partners who are not as aware as we are, or who are not able to emotionally track with us and grow with us and evolve with us, tends to look at it like this person is changing. I don't even understand women. You know, today they're hot, they're cold. No. Women grow in seasons, and so do men as well. But the difference in the seasonal changes of men and women is we are more growing towards affirming ourselves. We are growing more towards emotional stability. You know, we are evolving in our emotional intelligence. I was trying to stay away from that phrase because it's becoming a very popular catchphrase these days, emotional intelligence. But the fact is we can't get away from it when it comes to relationships. And that is why I said focusing on emotional stability and vulnerability is actually an evidence of a heightened, emotionally intelligent individual. Someone who has come to embrace themselves, someone who has come to understand and know who they are. I feel like that should be a major relationship goal. It really should not be leaning towards the other person. That's like codependency or interdependency. We should really focus on our growth in those relationships in every season. And I feel like that is what will help sustain the longevity of a lot of relationships and hopefully diminish divorce rates, breakup rates, because if we are evolving from one season to the other, and we are not only evolving by making more money or having more children or now moving in together and getting married, you know, relationship goals should not be a marriage goal. Because when you make relationship goals about it's a marriage goal or it's a children goal or it's some type of achievement goal, besides you growing and developing and evolving as a human being, I feel there comes to a point where something will eventually give. And that's why I feel like emotional stability and vulnerability, which equates emotional intelligence growth, is what really shows maturity in any relationship. I don't know, I feel like that's just me. Maybe it's because I've had the experience of going from girlfriend to wife to now single mom and divorced, and now, back in the dating pool and stuff like that. I'm beginning to see things a little bit differently. I'm actually learning and relearning a lot of things. But now I'm understanding fully well that I have to take responsibility for myself as a human being, growing within that relationship, and that's what makes me extremely valuable. So emotional stability and vulnerability for me just kind of evolves, and now I'm able to be comfortable and be able to understand and embrace not just myself, but at least be able to embrace my partner for who they are, not wanting to modify them into something else. But of course, I'm also able to easily identify personality traits and attributes that I'm not able to live with. Like, I'm sorry, like, just because we're not able to coexist in a relationship situation because of those personality and attribute differences, it doesn't mean the other person is a bad person. It actually takes a really great person, I don't want to say great person, but it takes an emotionally developed and evolved human being to be able to really identify those personality traits or emotional triggers in other people that they're really not able to live with for the long haul. And when we get to that point, that is when I feel like our relationship goals begin to, I don't know, does it begin to get fulfilled or accomplished? But I feel like that's when you actually begin to get your relationship goals accomplished. It's not about all the other trinkets.